Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be doing episode number 27, I think, might be 28, of I Build Your Teams, series where I build my viewers' teams into the best teams possible for my team in limited and or competitive play based on how much MT they have and what their squad is currently looking like. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 11,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, and I would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. With that being said, this is going to be my only video for today, Easter Sunday, spending the Sunday with my family, so do apologize for a lack of 2 or 3 videos like y'all would typically get on Sundays. But with that being said, without further ado, let's hop right into it. First team today comes in from D. He's got Rudy Fernandez and Ben Simmons, super solid point guard duo right there. Nothing to change. Billy and Eddie Jones, same thing. Don't think that needs changes. AK and Vladrad, I don't love Vladrad. Taco and Giannis, obviously Taco's staying. Giannis, I don't think so. And then we have Kareem and Mark Eaton as your 5s. So I think it's backup 3, backup 4, and then maybe your 5s that you want to look into tweaking personally. Number 1, Kareem, he's not unauctionable. You don't have him locked, and you might have him locked in. I don't think it would pop up if you did have him locked in. I'm assuming you locked him in for Tim Thomas at some point, which if you did, I still wouldn't play him at this point though. That's just my personal opinion on Pink Diamond Kareem. I think Shigana Jop, who's like 8,000 MT, is like a very, very easy swap in my opinion. That's the first thing I would do. Outside of that, I would just play Jokic since he's unauctionable at the backup power forward position over Giannis and sell Giannis to make the extra MT. I think that will help you out a lot as well if you do that. Backup 3, I'd go Jonathan Isaac. I just think he's way better than Vladrad, to be completely honest. That's another really easy upgrade for me. And then if you wanted to get another 5, you could. I don't think Mark Eaton is bad, though. I think he's definitely a viable option. The 5 position is still the one position in this game that they really have not done a great job of adding budget options, unfortunately. But you could also spend some tokens if you get a little bit more tokens and get a guy like Ryan Hollins from the token market, who you may not have initially gotten from the Bracket Busters promo. I think he's a guy who's also an upgrade over Eaton personally at the center position, and a guy worth considering at that spot. Second team today comes in from Anthony. He's got one of the better teams in the game. I mean, this team's absolutely incredible. Already has Sean Livingston as well, which huge shout out to you for completing that grind. I'm assuming he did it, but we got Sean Livingston and Ben. It's incredible. Ricky Davis and Glenn Rice, also very good. AK and Bender is super fine. Taco, KG, Yao, and Moses. My biggest, honestly, tweak for this team is bringing Taco or Yao off the bench. I think that's really that simple. Once he gets Hakeem, he's going to play him backup center. So for me, it'd be like go KG Yao and then go Taco Hakeem. Personally, I mean, that's just such a small tweak, but I don't think you really need to make a lot of tweaks. This team is really good. The thing about this team is it doesn't have every single best card in the game. He doesn't have Terry Dishinger. He doesn't have Tracy McGrady, but he's got the 2 most OP cards in the game in Taco and Yao, which I think is an important note to make for sure. And then he's got really, really good cards everywhere else that aren't crazy expensive. So that's kind of why I wanted to include this team, because none of these guys are OD expensive. I mean, Sean Livingston's free. Ricky Davis is a buyout. AK is a top 5 card in the game, and he's a buyout. If you don't have AK on your team, by the way, I don't know what you're doing, legitimately, unless you are like a brand new to this game player, because he is so good and really should be on every single person who plays this game squad if you have the MT to get him. I mean, overall, this team's really good, though. Again, I think I would be swapping, bringing one of Taco or Yao off the bench just to give you a little bit more balance, I think, in your lineup. That's just my opinion. Outside of that, I'm not actually going to really upgrade. Not really going to recommend any upgrades for this team. Third team today comes in from Ray. He's got 525,000 MT. I was wondering what to do with this team. I like his point guards. Jimmy and Luke Walton is super solid. I mean, if you want to upgrade slightly at point guard, I do think Rudy Fernandez might be a little bit better than Luke Walton. I will be honest. I love Luke Walton, but I think Rudy Fernandez might have him beat a little bit. But shooting guards are super fine. Glenn Rice and Eddie Jones, beasts. John Isaac and Jonathan Bender, super good. Taco and Nate Thurmond. I don't love the Nate Thurmond play there, but E and Jop, I mean, yeah, not bad. I think, I don't know, 500,000 MT. I don't exactly know what the prices are looking like for the most expensive bigs in the game, as in guys like, I don't know, how much would it cost to lock in a Dikembe Mutombo? I don't know if I'd recommend spending that much MT to lock Dikembe in, but I think he's worth considering. Also a guy like, how much is Kristaps Porzingis is probably a little bit too expensive. I don't know exactly how much he's going for. Maybe Dark Matter, David Robinson. This is if you want to spend all your MT on a center. Otherwise, the easiest, honestly, upgrade is just to go get Ryan Hollins in the token market, play E at the backup 4. You really don't even have to spend any MT at that point to upgrade outside of picking up Rudy Fernandez at point guard instead of Luke Walton, in my opinion. I mean, this is a great team. Again, it really comes down to, if you're trying to upgrade this team at this point, if you're willing to spend all your MT on one player at that center position, be that locking in a guy like Dikembe Mutombo or picking up a David Robinson. Dikembe's the better card. D-Rob obviously is still auctionable, so you can get your MT back when you're done with him, which is going to be a good thing for sure if that is your strategy. But I don't know, man. It's a tough decision for me, to be completely honest, in terms of what I would do with your squad. I think I would probably look to pick up. I just think Dikembe's so good. That's the reason I say Dikembe, but I really think at the end of the day, it's up to you what you want to do with your squad. So I will leave that decision with you. Fourth team, we got Levi. He's got 2.3 mil. This team is nasty. Well, it's going to be nasty because he's got 2.3 mil and he's got a ton of the really good RNG reward cards already. With that being said, I'm going to pull up 2KDB here and we're going to build you a team because you do have the amount of MT necessary to really upgrade the squad, but some of these guys are not going to stick in the final team. That I can say with complete confidence. Create lineup here, starting point guard. Let's just go with the cheap options. No, let's not. I lied. Let's go with the, I still think the #1 point guard in the game besides Sean Livingston, who might be the best point guard in the game but isn't auctionable, is Jimmy Butler. So I think since you got the MT, you go get Jimmy, and then you can bring Rudy Fernandez off the bench. Your twos are great. I would start Steve Smith over Billy Knight. He's the better card. That's just my opinion. Billy can come off the bench. It's up to you at that point what you want to do with your bench, because I will say I would go AK at the 3 here. I think he's the best small forward in the game. Backup small forward, you could go Danny Ferry, you could go Mike Bantam for the duo. It really does not matter. I think you can go with either one, and honestly keep them both in the lineup if you'd like to. Starting power forward, we have KG right now. I think we'll stick with KG because of how good of a card he is. And then I think we go Taco backup 4, Yao starting 5, and backup 5. Actually, let's do this. This is an expensive team, but you have the MT to where you can make this team a possibility, and honestly make it a reality, I think is a better way to say it. This is what I would be doing. I know it's a lot of MT to spend, but this is one of the best teams in the game, and really, honestly, close to an in-game caliber team as well, which I think is something that is certainly worth keeping in mind. So definitely a big fan of what this team would look like compared to the squad you're running right now. I think it'll make a huge difference for you. Second to last team comes in from Jack. He's got 500,000 MT. This is honestly another team that needs a lot of rebuilding. He needs help with most positions. I do agree with that. Willing to spend most, if not all of his MT. I will say this, additionally, sell everybody who's auctionable. I mean, you have a lot of guys who might be auctionable, able to make you some MT, even if it's not a huge chunk per player. If you could sell, I mean, Magic, Scotty, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, Kyrie, LeBron, Chet, Kareem, any of those guys are auctionable. That would be really, I think, a big thing for you in terms of being able to upgrade your team. With that being said, I think this is the easy way to build like a cheap 500,000-ish MT team. I will actually probably be dropping a 500,000 MT team on Monday for y'all to see what I would build with exactly 500,000 MT, but right now I'm kind of just going off the top of my head. And I'm thinking, honestly, something like this for your backcourt. At the 3, thinking something along the lines of, I guess you have Tim locked in. He could come off the bench, but you could also keep, I mean, you don't have to play him if you don't want to. If you want to replace him with somebody else, you could do that. I guess you go, nah, well, you have the MT. We'll go Andre Kirilenko at the 3. He's an absolute monster. At the 4, we go, I don't know, Dino Raja. 5 can be Sagana Jop. Backup 4 can be, who's a good backup 4? Charlie Villanueva from the token markets, and then backup 5 could be Ryan Hollins from the token markets. I think this type of 10-man would be really nice. Honestly, probably wouldn't even spend all your MT. You could even, I mean, theoretically, it's possible you might be able to, with the amount of T you have, build something like this instead. You could tactically downgrade a Ricky Davis to somebody a little bit cheaper and build something along these lines. Maybe make, instead of AK, you go Jonathan Bender or something like that to save a little bit more MT in that spot. But if you could build something along these lines of this team, this is just a gigantic improvement over the squad we're looking at right here. And then the final team today comes in from Cat. He's got 2.5 mil. This is a flex team. He's a Timberwolves fan, so I'm not going to make much of a comment on him having Anthony Edwards and Cat in his lineup, even though those cards aren't that good. Start AK over Bill Russell. Bill Russell is the second best small forward in the game. Totally cool with keeping him. I just think he's crazy expensive, so I will say this. If you have Bantam, Ferry, Purvis Ellison, any of those 3 guys, I personally would not be that interested, in all honesty, in keeping Bill Russell, just because as good as he is, I don't think he's worth the price if you do have those RNG cards. And then also it might be worth adding, at least in like a competitive type game, having a couple of guys who can substitute for Ant and Karl Anthony Towns if necessary. Maybe guys like Ricky Davis and I don't know. Again, Charlie Villanueva, free card. Get him from the token market. You could throw him in your last 3. Would be a nice little guy who you can substitute in there as well if need be. And then the one other thing I would also consider is, again, bringing one of Taka or Yao off the bench as well. I always think that's generally a good recommendation against your playing, unless you're playing against somebody with both of them starting, in which case maybe you want to match that instead. But that is just my input on this squad. But that is going to be the last team for today's video, and that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.